Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Nonprofit Enthusiasts Live. Can you all believe that it is almost the end of the year? Um, this is such an exciting time. I know this is such a very busy time for nonprofit organizations with all the different things going on. And for some, it might be a quiet time, depending on what your mission is for your organization and the group that you work with, but it's just a wonderful and exciting time. So today, this month's topic is fund development and year-end planning. And I am so excited about this month. We have a guest speaker coming on starting next week. Every week for the remainder of the year, we'll have a different guest talking about the areas of fund development, year-end planning. So make sure that you tune in to those segments. So my goal today is to kind of kick off the conversation, and I wanted to talk about some things I've been working on in the area I've been working within a lot. So what that is, when it comes to year-end planning, the topic that I want to focus on within that is board development and what's happening with some boards around this time. And if you're like, it's the end of the year, I don't know what to do, it's so much to do. I hope these tips will help you when planning um, w- w- rather quickly within the next few weeks some 2024 um, agenda items for you and your board. So the first thing is, and especially because I've just kind of wrapped up a lot of these conversations I wanted to share, is looking at your board meetings for 2024. If you have not done so, making sure that you plan it out. Organizations do it differently. I love to plan it an entire year in advance. And this actually doesn't even just not just with our board meetings, but it translates across our entire organization. Normally around this time, we're doing an entire 12-month plan as to what's going on, the different activities that's going on in different layers. So the board meetings is no different. So if you have not done so, consider planning. What will 2024 board meetings look like for you? What are some of the key agenda items that you all are planning to discuss? Some things that's common is reviewing your budgets if you haven't got them approved yet. And then on top of it, if this is truly your nonprofit's year end, because some, even though it's the calendar year end, that might differ. But taking a look at some of the budgets, financial reports, key milestones and metrics, kind of looking back and looking at the areas that you all may have faced challenges in, along with successes, and looking forward as to what the upcoming year would look like, or how you would like that to look for your organization. Something else I want to kind of talk about is board retreats. So if your organization does not do a board retreat, and this can look different for every organization. Some take one day, it might be at their office, at a board member's office, or some sort of space, and just the boards agree to kind of dedicate their time, and we're going to do a lot of strategic planning and looking ahead as to what next year looks for us. I've seen it where it's been a series of days where the board just kind of really locked down and look ahead. I've seen it in various models, so you definitely can do it any type of way, but taking that time to strategically plan the direction of your organization. And sometimes if you have existing plan, it's kind of bringing that back out. Does this still apply? Do we need to change this up a bit? It had we've seen it actually when the pandemic happened, a lot of strategic plans got thrown away. Right, those 3 to 5 year strategic plans got thrown away just because no one foreseen a pandemic happening, and it changed the model of many nonprofit organizations. So it is very important to take a look at your existing plans or developing plans. And during your board retreat is a wonderful time to do so. The extra layer to this is a lot of times, and you may who's going to run our board retreat? That's the next question that I get. And you, of course, you can choose to facilitate your board retreat, but guess what? you have friends here at Nonprofit Enthusiasts that can help you with doing just that. We enjoy, and that's one of the things that we do very often is workshops and board retreats for organizations. And the cool things about that, and whether it's nonprofit enthusiasts or not, I want to talk a little bit about the cool thing about bringing in an external consultant to be able to aid the conversation within your board. So um, you'll have an unbiased perspective. That's the cool thing, because we've sat through board retreats where we are just really facilitating the conversation, inserting our expertise into the conversation, but also not choosing sides, especially when it comes to very uh, I'll say difficult conversations. You need that external individual or person in that room to help facilitate that. And then also there's a whole art to being able to have those difficult conversations. So having someone else in the room is extremely helpful. And the cool thing about that, having that person being able to move that conversation along, coming to an agreement of what this looks like for the organization, and then writing that down. Okay, this is our plan moving forward, helps a lot. The other cool thing about having an external consultant involved in your board retreats is their expertise in facilitation. So that is really good, because sometimes, let's say if you use a staff member, so forth, you might be bogged down with the day to day where you really are not able to back up and think ahead, and that can happen. So having the expertise to come in, having that perspective is very helpful. And then also the specialized knowledge is helpful in the process to help your board retreat run smoothly. This external consultant will help with aiding in developing what does this agenda look like for you in your board retreat. They would probably work alongside you, and I can't speak for all external consultants, but I can tell you exactly how we do it. We work alongside you to develop a customized agenda for you, so that we can meet your goals, because you might have some items that you need to review with the board, but also whatever overarching goal that you have, we're able to help with adding those items into the agenda. So it may be a common one is strategic planning. What does the next year look like for us? Developing a work plan. Maybe it's focusing on what our fundraising goals are for the upcoming year, based off of your organization's past performance. You might find some of these areas that you really want to drill in on during the retreat time. And we're able to work with you to have a customized approach that's designed for you and your organization. And there's a series of things that happen before the retreat day to make sure that it's a really good experience for everyone involved, but we're able to get to work, roll our sleeves up and get to work. Okay. So that's something to consider. Also, having that external consultant, some of the goals can be team building. In addition to strategically planning, you may say, hey, our board really does not get together on a frequent basis. And having this retreat is not only a way for us to plan strategically, but we also need time to build bonds with each other, so that while we're going out here fundraising and overseeing the organization, we're doing it in a cohesive manner. So that's something that a outside facilitator can assist you with, along with, on the other side, conflict resolution. Strategic planning guidance, I talked about that. It's time efficiency. One cool thing, because I know, and I'm gonna say it, because even within our own organization, we have to get external facilitators. And let me tell you why. Because sometimes you're so used to working with each other, whether it's the board or the staff, that yes, you have your agenda set out, but sometimes if you get into a really deep conversation, like, no, we need to work through this, there's no one to move it along. The cool thing about an outside consultant, they're able to help move the conversation along, so that you still can accomplish your goals and come to a decision of whatever the topic that you might be talking about. Let's say you all are making decisions as to whether you're going to open an office. I'm just throwing that out there, and some may half may believe no, and the other half don't. And you, so the consultant can help facilitate. Well, what does this look like for us? Consultant can help insert certain things that you all may not have thought of. And kind of pull those questions out of you so that you all can come up with a decision that everyone can agree upon in order to strengthen the next stage for your organization. So, so I talked about a few things. So time efficiency, strategic planning, conflict resolution, team building, you name it. Having an external consultant is very helpful to your retreats. Also, they can also bring a wealth of knowledge and access to resources. Sometimes what would happen, let's say you facilitate the board retreat on your own, and then there's going to be a lot of those follow-up items or in your parking lot. And having an external facilitator, especially if you know a particular area that you all really need to zoom in on, they may have that resource right there. So we can move back to that time efficiency, so we can move the conversation along. Hey, here's this resource, or whichever, to help with that. What do you all think about that? Oh yes, okay, that's where we're going to explore. So now you can actually take advantage of different resources and tools. And then also having that consultant, they can be able to create a plan for post retreat. So how many times have you had a retreat, and let's say some of the things that you put did not get carried out? So you all can work together on what does that look like, the follow-up throughout, to make sure that the board accomplishes exactly what they say. And I know I'm talking about board, but this can apply to staff and other areas as well when it comes to a retreat. But I do want you all to think about, what does that look like for my organization? Are we at a point where we do need to have a retreat? And even if you don't have the budget per se to have a full, don't think of, sometimes when you think of retreats, it may be like, okay, it's full 3 days off on the island somewhere, which I don't know. I've heard of some of these though. And it's it could just simply be at wherever you all currently host your sessions or meetings, or work for your nonprofit. Just blocking out this time, uninterrupted time. That's the biggest thing. If you can do it offsite, I encourage you to do it offsite. But I understand there's different budgetary constraints. So if you can do it offsite, definitely do it offsite. But that can be, we're nonprofit. We know how to get an in-kind space, a donation of space. We know how to get a donation of food. We know how to do that. So just get creative based off of the budget of your organization and the goals of your organization. But I do encourage you to try to build in some time to do that. Having that time with your board or with your staff to just think at 30,000 feet collaboratively is so important. It can really help push your organization forward. So, yeah, that's really what I want to talk about. Is if you haven't looked, what is our 2024 schedule looking like? What's our board, when our board meetings happening? Are we having a board retreat? Are we having a staff retreat? What do our staff meetings look like? I just want to kind of share this so you can start looking at that. And then also the importance and how helpful it is to have an external consultant. So if you are looking for an external consultant, we are booking up for 2024 right now, and definitely want to, we're saving you a seat. So we definitely want you to be able to fill the seat that we're holding for you. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll drop the link to schedule a consult, so that we can get you on the schedule before all the seats are filled. But we definitely would love to be a part of your board retreat this year. We thoroughly enjoy it. And for those who have done board retreat with us, You can, if you're tuned in, you can drop something. It's an entire experience, let me tell you. If it's in person, it's an entire experience. And if it's a virtual, we're still going to make it experience because we really value the work that you do. We want this day. We know how important this day is, and we go to the next level when doing things. And if you work with us, you know exactly what we mean by going to the next level. So we are here. We're here to support you on your journey. If you're planning to do a board retreat, whether it's with the external consultant or not, if you're just planning a board retreat, drop that in the chat. Let us know, and give us some details as to what does that look like. What are some of your plans with the retreat, so that we can get ideas from one another. All right. So I had some other areas to talk about. Let me see if there's any. I don't know time wise. We might continue. We're going to be continuing the conversation this month on year-end planning as a whole. So some of these other areas I'll definitely talk about then. But one thing is, as you're planning your meetings for your board, if there are crucial things that you know need to be on the agenda, go ahead and set that now. So if it's like, around this time this is happening, we're going to need these approvals, go ahead and set that on you could do a draft agenda that you can fine tune as you get closer, but go ahead and get those ideas out of your head onto paper. Remember, we're here to help match your passion with structure. So this is one of those pieces. Don't wait, because there is a chance, at least I know if it's me, if I don't write it down, it don't exist. So I would easily forget it. So what I do is create a draft. And so I know January's meeting, and let's say the next quarter's meeting, these are some of the key things, because this is what's going on. These approvals we're going to need. So making sure that you do that. All right, y'all. So thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to invite a friend. So let's close out this year strong. We made it to 1K, over 1K this year. And I believe we can make it to 2K next year, right? But we're going to need you. So the way that we're able to continue to grow as a group is you. Right? So the more people we have in the group, the more people we can learn from, the more that when you drop questions in there, you're going to get different perspectives to help you kind of figure out any challenges that you might be facing, the more people we're able to celebrate our successes with. So definitely, please invite. So you know how I like to do. Let's take a little minute, go up to the invite button, click invite. And if you can invite at least 5 people that you know need to be in the group, and tuning in on these lives. And in addition, if you are new to the group and have not checked out our guide section, it is amazing. Go over to the guide section and you can catch all the past lives that we had categorized into different groups. There is the video section that you can click on to see all the different videos, but these are categorized. So if you're like, I need help with board development, go over there and look at board development. Another thing is, you all might be working on your annual report. I need help with my annual report. And when I say annual report, I'm talking about the one with data, not the one that you file with the state. Go over to there, look at the annual report. And I'm hoping that we have more people completing those reports, annual reports this year. And we'll be sharing some things as we close out the year and early next year around that. So thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Bye, everyone.